everyone, and welcome to week 5 of our course. This is Dr. Paz. I hope everyone is well. So I'm trying to try different methodologies to record these virtual classroom videos because in studio sometimes I just don't get all the functionality that I'm used to. So I thought we'd try it this way and see how that goes. So right now I'm signing in, and then once I get signed in, I will share my screen and we'll go over our week 5 information. And basically your virtual classroom assignment will be stated throughout the video. So that way you'll watch it to the end and then you will submit within our virtual classroom assignment. I'll show you that in a second, where you would submit all of that fun stuff. All right, so let me share my screen and let me share my entire desktop here. So that way we can do this. All right. So hopefully you are seeing my loveliness here. And I have my scale is a little smaller than normal because I do have my iPad connected. So hopefully you can see that as well. I'm trying to. Let me try something different here. Let me stop sharing that and just share my Google screen so I become small at the top there with the way I like it. I don't like to be so large on here. All right, so let's go into our class and go into our modules and then into week 5. Can you believe we are here? Let me just double check in my notes here to make sure I am not fibbing and telling you all the fabulous things here. So I actually created this class and I have several videos here that are quite helpful for you that hopefully you will find helpful in completing your discussions and your assignments and your quiz. So this video will be placed right here under week 5 virtual classroom. I'll add the video here. And then I will also add, basically to read as you watch the video, look out for the prompts, and then you're going to submit here the assignment for this week. So let's go back over here. Let me minimize these. And one area that I wanted to bring to your attention is my website. If you go to drvpaz.com, right up here, right, so drvpaz.com, you'll see several of courses and several information. So if you click under courses here and you click under principles of financial accounting, then this is the class that coincides with our class the most. So I think accounting equations, I think I went over the financial statements last and transactions and accruals. So if you click on any one of these lessons, it'll open up for you and then you can click through and see the information that I have here for you. And then the other piece that I would say is click on videos. And then you would see access YouTube video. And basically here, if you scroll down, you'll see that I have a financial accounting playlist. And that playlist is the one that closely coincides with our class. And you see everything that I have here as well. So that is some areas that I think would be very helpful for you to look at. And that way we can go through it. So if we go back to our course and to our modules, then we end up with our chapter 3. And so these are your PowerPoints with notes, and then I have your handout and your student summary. And then this presentation PowerPoint goes through each of the problems and then kind of shows you how to complete them. So if you are struggling with the assignment, I would say this PowerPoint presentation is the one to help you the most with. So I'm going to open our template here. And basically, what we're trying to do here is complete the amounts of the revenues and the expenses for each of these transactions. And so the easiest way I would say to do that is to basically, we'll do a couple together, and I'm going to put it right on the screen here so you have it, and then you should hopefully see how to complete that. So basically what this is telling us is, let's scroll up here, right? It says that Chef's Catering is completing these transactions. And then it wants to show, so you're going to show whether each transaction would be handled as a revenue or an expense using both the cash basis and the accrual basis of accounting. Let me download the template so I can type it in. So give me 1 second to do that. Let me open that up and then go back here and share that with you. Let me see. Perfect. So hopefully you're seeing our assignment here, and basically, and then we will go over and kind of put in some of these for you. So in this case, and you see how I give you the first example up here. So for May 1st, you prepaid rent for 3 months of $2,400. So in that case, you're going to have that you actually the cash transferred, right? So you're going to put here the $sign and $2,400 there. And then it's not going to have any impact on your accrual basis because it was cash. And then here you received and paid the electricity bill. So in this case, since you received and paid it, you paid it with cash. So that's going to be $700 less. Right. And then also this is going to be $700, right? Because it's an expense. So expenses are in the credit, as you see here. Right. And so we'll do one more. And then basically you see here that we received cash for meals that we served to customers. So since we got money here, this is going to be $2,600. And since we served customers, that's revenue. So that's also $2,600. And then you'll see here, we made adjusting entries for rent, and we accrued salary expenses, and we recorded depreciation. None of those have an impact on cash. So all of those amounts here are going to be zero. But here, when you made an adjusting entry for rent, then rent you paid for 3 months. So 2,400 divided by 3 is 800, and that's a rent expense. So you're going to put that in a minus here. And then here you see accrued salary expenses. So that's an expense. So we're going to put that also as a credit here. So basically that's how you would complete the first option. And then the second option is you're going to calculate net income based on the cash basis or the accrual basis. So for the cash basis, you're pretty much going to look at any of the items in this account. So you would subtract the 2,400, right? Subtract the 700, and then you would have the 2,600. And when you complete these others, you'll see that the net income or loss under the cash basis here, this is your check figure, is $3,500. And then under the accrual basis, you're going to look at everything in this column. And under the accrual basis, you're going to see, okay, you have 2,600 in cash, and hopefully you'll see something else. And then you're going to subtract the 700, subtract the 800, subtract the 1,600. And then once you complete all of this, your check figure here is basically $2,250. And then your last requirement is, if you scroll up here, it's asking you to consider your results from requirement 2 and which method gives the best picture of the true earnings of Chef's Catering and why. And so in this case, I'm interested in knowing your thoughts on that. So that is, I've gotten a few questions as to how this is the best way, like how to start the assignment and how to go through the assignment. So hopefully this gives you that ability here for this particular problem. And then for our next problem here, I give you some check figures here at the top. And then what you're doing here is you're showing the T accounts where they are. So for example, here, if you used office supplies of $1,700, then you're going to go into your office supplies, and well, the first item here, I'm sorry, it's asking you to open a T account for each account using the adjusted balances. So here you're going to take cash and you're going to enter cash here of $800 because, and on the debit side, because we know cash is an asset, right? Office supplies, you're going to see here, it has a debit balance of $2,000. And then here, if we look at accounts payable for $2,400, that one you're going to put on the credit side, and it has that there for you, right? And then if you see here, then we have sales service revenues for $25,000. You're going to add that here. Okay. And then your next step here is you're going to journalize the adjusting entries using the letter and December 31st in the date. So basically that you're going to enter your journal entries here. So I left you A, B, C, D, and E. So let's do the first one, right? So here you said you used office supplies of $1,700. So what we're going to do here is put a debit for supplies expense to show that we used it. And then we're going to enter here $1,700. And then here we're going to enter right here our office supplies because that's the inventory account, you know, the asset account that we have it. And we're going to credit that for $1,700. And then right underneath, we're going to add to record office supplies used. Okay. And then let's do the last one where we earned $400 of unearned revenue. So if we scroll down to E, that means we earned revenue. So we're going to debit the unearned revenue because that is a liability account and we're decreasing it by $400. And then we're going to enter here our service revenues because that is what we earned of $400. And it helps if I spell it correctly. And then right here, we're going to say to record service revenues earned that was collected in advance. And we'll add that here. Perfect. So that's your requirement 2. So you're going to fill in the other 3, and hopefully that will help. And so you'll go through that. And then requirement 3 is where you're actually, if we go back up, I don't mean to make you dizzy here, is to post the adjustments to the T account, right? So if we take here our $1,700, right? So we would go here and we know that the balance was $2,000, right? Because that's what we had at the beginning. If we come up here, right, we added the $2,000 balance here and that came from right over here. See, we took the office supplies here of the 2,000. And then what we did is we placed that in here. And so that, let me put this in red a second. And then we placed that right here under office supplies. And now we are just bringing that down to our requirement 3 and adding it right here. And then we know that we used, because we did this entry up here, that so we're going to debit the supplies account, right? We're going to credit, excuse me, the office supplies of $1,700. So we're going to add that here, the $1,700, and we have the A there. And then we know if these were our last entries, which in this case they are, then we'd have the balance. So here is our debit, and then our credit is going, our credit and our debit is going to be into supplies expense. And so here we would put the other, and see, I left the letters in there for you so that you can see where they're recording it. So if you take note, see, I left this letter here for you. This is where D would be affected. So you can kind of figure out, you see, I left A and A here so that you could figure out the entries by the clues in here. Here you see B, and then here you see the debit for B, and here's the credit. And here's the debit for E, which we did, and the credit for E in service revenue, right? So if we come back up here, for E, you see we have a debit to unearned revenue, and that's what you see here. So you enter the 400, and we have a credit of for service revenue of 400. And then if we come back to the very top here, if we look at service revenues, we have a $25,000 balance up here. And so that's what we would enter. So this $25,000 balance, we are going to place here, right, under service revenue, the 25,000, and we're just going to bring that down here and add it here. So we're just taking what we did above, and in this case, we would have $25,400. So that is this portion of the assignment. And then here, what you're doing, I give you the trial balance total, so that right here, you know that these two balances should equal 4,600. And so we're going back up here, and then basically you're going to take this information and put it in the trial balance. So hopefully when you are done with that, you will see office supplies will be 300 because you're going to take it from here. And then you're going to see that your service revenue should be 25,400, and then you're going to put that here. So 25,400. And then hopefully when you add these all up, you will get this total of both of these should be 46,210. And then lastly, you're going to have an adjusted trial balance. And then basically you're going to do your adjustments here, which I give them mostly to you. So all you're going to do here is just add them over. So the exercise here is to take, and you're going to do either the debits or the credits. So in this case, you're going to add the, Alexa, stop, the 27,400. But here you see 6,700, and this is accounts receivable. And then we're going to add the 3,500. So this account here is going to be 10,200. And then you're going to show the amounts here. So hopefully this helps you in understanding how to do this assignment, and I'll post another video with additional lecture materials for you as well.